Alrighty, game time. Just got through playing this game. It is quite epic. Nin versus Edric. Always a tough match. This game is no exception. I have a certainly keepable hand. I really wish I was going first because of that Spell Pierce. But I do have Fire Ice, so it's very keepable. Sure enough, what a thing to pierce right there. Wayfarer's Bauble. Wasteland shows up. There's a Fabricate. That's also encouraging. So I'm just going to throw out Nin here in case he's playing with birds or something. I can always keep his elves and birds and stuff under control with Nin. Make Edric a lot less dangerous. Oh, I'm thinking he might just cast it right here. He plays Treetop Village, which is fine because I've got Wasteland. Trinket Mage, pretty annoying. But instead of getting Soul Ring, he goes for Everflowing Chalice. Completely baffled by that, but whatever. Alright, a little short on land, so it's tight, but I'm hoping he'll just cast his Edric and I can burn it away. And strip mine the village. We'll see if he's got any extra land. What I really want him to do here actually is tap out and cast his Chalice so I can Spell Pierce it, but he's not cooperating. Ugh, Phantom Centaur. Something to punish me for having no counters in hand. And even though I'm at 38, I'm not happy to see that at all. So I'm just going to Impulse in response, and I definitely would Force a Will here. Just throw away the Spell Pierce. None of the kind. No counters at all. And I can't take the Dynamo because I'm short one land as well, as much as I'd like to get that because of Karn, so I've just got to take Ancient Tomb. Alright. And he's got a Speaker also. Pretty ugly situation here. I can at least put out Scalding Tarn. And I have a couple of little plays here on his next attack, but there's already a lot of damage coming in. Yeah, and if he played another land here and had Edric plus a counter, that would just be it, unfortunately. Temple of the False God. These are weird cards to see in Edric, but whatever. Just sending those two guys in. I'm just going to take the hit. So here's a bit of a lesson for you, Pokey. If you've got a Tree Speaker in play, you should probably pump it first. But instead he doesn't. He just casts Chalice. I've got a free Spell Pierce there. Scoot Mob. Alright, well that's an easy Fire Ice. Reduce his board a little bit. Alright, I got a Bauble. I'm going to Fabricate here, and I'm just going to go get a Soul Ring. As much as I really want to get Shackles to try to keep this stuff under control, I don't have the luxury of the time of doing that because I still have to play around Edric. So I'm just going to go get Soul Ring myself. Risk taking a hit from the Treetop Village. And my entire plan here is to Snapcaster after he casts Edric, presumably. Kill it with Fire Ice and block the Trinket Mage. There's Edric. He does not even activate the Treetop Village. So the play works out perfectly. Fire on Edric. Block Trinket Mage. Pretty good. It's debatable about whether or not maybe with this much mana in play I should have just let the Snapcaster Mage live, but I really kind of need to keep creatures off the board. I'm taking so much damage, and obviously every creature has so much value with Edric out, you can't really ignore him. And then he casts Troll Ascetic. Oh god, that's such a nasty follow-up. Now I know why he didn't attack with his village. Arid Mesa, that's not very helpful. Alright, we're getting in a deep, deep hole, because he can just recast Edric now, next turn, and have enough mana to attack with the village as well if he draws a land. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. Really, really tight spot. I want to use Karn here, but at the same time, I kind of want to short my position as well. But I'm so low already, I ultimately decide that the only play that's going to work here is Karn. And I could exile this thing, but that would leave me in a very yucky position of having to basically just chump block the Troll Ascetic, and he would still be able to recast Karn. Recast his Edric. It's just not a winning position. So I think actually that there might be a long-term play, depending on how greedy this guy is going to get, of a Karn Liberated Ultimate. So we're going to do that. I get a sower out of his hand, which is kind of interesting. So as expected, down comes Edric. And these guys are headed for me. Very interesting, with 10 counters on Karn. I think the play's not terrible at all, given the fact that he's going to draw 2 off of it. And hitting Karn for 7 or 8 is good, but it doesn't completely eliminate the threat, although it does remove the exile ability. But it does let me untap with active Nin. I don't know. I think maybe attacking Karn makes more sense here. I think you win the long game that way. You don't give me a chance at stabilizing and using the ultimate. Sword of Fire and Ice, so that's probably why he did it. Pretty nightmarish board here. Sculpting Steel. Alright, card out of his hand. Counterspell. Look at that. Punish for playing the Temple over an island. Because this game would have been completely over ages ago if he'd been able to use that counterspell. Okay, so I've got Karn at 14. Now the issue is, can I protect him long enough to win the sub-game? So let's see what happens here. Play Simulacrum. Yes, I'm recording, yes. Thank you. Alright, so cast the Solemn. I know. The microphone's still picking it up even when you're whispering. Alright, but thank you for being quiet. Alright, get another island. So I'm kind of trying to bluff him into making him believe that I actually am planning to play the long game here. So I've still got a Wasteland for this, and now I've actually got a complete block set up if he goes for Karn here. So he just puts sword on that thing, activates village, they're all coming in. So I strip mine the village. And this guy's headed for me. So the thing is that I don't know what I'm going to draw off the Solemn Simulacrum. Obviously, I have to... I probably could have actually taken the 5 here and kept Nin alive. That was probably not a good plan when I think about it in retrospect. I think I was just totally set on using the ultimate, given that I do have a permanent exiled, which is the 2/2 Sower. And I figure if I start the game with the Sower of Temptation in play, I'm probably going to win. So it regenerates. Draw 2. What do we get? Merchant Scroll. Very interesting. Metamorph. Hinder. So suddenly things get really interesting, and now I realize, you know what? I can actually play a long game here, and maybe get some more value out of Karn. I get a Snapcaster Mage that time. So I'm just going to go and get Cyclonic Rift, and I think about copying my my Soul Ring off the Metamorph, and then I realize it's probably a little greedy. If he does in fact have Daze here, that could be decisive, and I would still lose. So I'm just going to do this. All back in his hand, Karn at 18 counters. So he plays the Troll Ascetic. And instead of casting another creature here, he plays Farhaven Elf. Pretty baffling, actually. And I've got a counterspell and Thirst. So if I reset, I start over right now with Snapcaster and Sower in play versus an empty board. I guess he goes first. And I just don't feel like that's quite good enough to do it, given the fact that I'm not really in a losing position right now at all. So I can eat another card. I get his Edric, which might have been a mistake. I think maybe eating an island here probably would have been a better play, because that would have ensured that the ultimate was going to go off next turn, because all I have to do is just chump block for a turn. So I play Nin. Now he can send his guys at Edric or at Karn and take counters off, and it doesn't even matter. My plan here is to just hinder the sword, of course, which he recasts. Get that out of the game. And at this point, I look at the clock and notice that I only have 4 minutes left in the game. That this guy started the game with 15 minutes on the clock instead of the normal 25. Ugh, how unfortunate. Just when the game's getting super interesting, and I've taken control of it. So cast that guy. Just going to Thirst in response. Just a Treachery on top too. Throw away the Mind Stone. So even though I'm at 2, take that guy. Karn away the infiltrator. And I do not foresee anything he can do with no cards in hand. I guess short of even a I don't need you to narrate it. I'm still talking, okay?
You're still winning.
Yep. Because even if he top decks into a miracle like Cyclonic Rift, I can probably use Nin to shoot the Centaur and get a counterspell, or have Nin shoot herself and get a counterspell. Top decks a haste creature. Pretty funny. But it's not enough to kill me. Block, block. So Nin is just blocking the Geist. Phantom Centaur blocks the Troll Ascetic. I always have the backup of metamorphing on the Phantom Centaur to buy way, way, way more turns. I'm just going to draw a bunch here. Draw 7. I get still no counter spells. I was completely on vacation this game. I don't think I've drawn. I know I drew a Hinder, I guess. 37 cards down. I've drawn 1 counter spell out of like 22. But I've got Flame Tongue Cabo to kill 1 threat, Metamorph to copy another one. And this game, even without Karn's ultimate, is completely over, even though I'm at 1. Such a shame to run out of time. There's Tezzeret and Memory Lapse. Make it even more ridiculous. There's nothing you can do at this point. I'll just go get a diamond. Or an opal. Absolutely no way for him to win at this point. But unfortunately, I'm out of time. Anyway, I thought this was a neat game to record. Because to get that low, to actually get into Karn Ultimate range, which would have been the first time I've ever activated it, and then to somehow dig myself out of that hole to the point where I actually have a commanding stranglehold on the game, only with 20 seconds left, was quite an epic game. So yeah, time's going to just run out here. He casts a Jitte. I can lapse that. Not worried at all about the troll at this point, because I'm just going to be able to draw a bunch of cards and Tezzeret ultimate him to death in a couple of turns. But unfortunately, time is over and Pokey wins. But either way, a pretty awesome game. Just need to see the Karn shenanigans. Hope you enjoyed it. More to come.